اسمي نزال حمادة. أنا فنانة فلسطينية-كندية مقيمة برام الله. شغلي وبحثي بركز على مواضيع الزمن، الذاكرة والأرض من منظور الاستعمار الاستيطاني. بشتغل مع وسائل مختلفة، منها التصوير والفيديو والإنستليشن. والعمل اللي راح أحكي عنه اليوم هو إجا من فكرة كان بدور براسي إنه كيف بيقدر يمثل الصالون الفلسطيني للأجيال المستقبلية. هو أشبه بكبسولة زمنية. So I started the work from asking myself this question of how you can represent the Palestinian Salon. And you know, the more that I thought about how can we really represent this thing, I realized, you know, the more definitively you try and show it, the more you create space to get it wrong. And I'm really interested in this idea of when you try and show something too perfectly, you begin to get it wrong, like you really can't show it. And so I was interested in finding ways to represent something without representing. And for us as a people, as Palestinians, and in this space, it is especially relevant, this idea of refusing to be represented or to represent yourself, or just refusing to show the viewer something. And I think it's because we're so overrepresented in international, you know, politics and media and parliaments, and we're constantly discussed and we're constantly seen on the news, but in ways that really make us impossible to actually be seen, and in ways that don't uplift our humanity, but actually diminish it. And so I think there's something powerful about us saying, I'm actually not going to show you everything. So the work came from this idea of creating a time capsule for future generations that could show people what the Palestinian Salon is without actually showing them it, and actually stripping them from seeing, you know, seeing the family photos that people might put up, or seeing the political posters, or the little decor that shows someone's politics to their guests, or even just the kind of mundane or decorative things like, you know, your tablecloth or the type of fabric you have on your couch. And all of this is stripped from the viewers. For Palestinians, the Salon is, you know, it's an intimate space, but it's also the space where we show our guests who we are. And it's where we represent ourselves to others. It's where we greet the guests, and we're, you know, it's very, very tied to our identity. And this is true for a lot of people, even though our salons look so incredibly different from one another. And so, you know, the idea of representing it and representing what kind of collections people will have in their salon, it's really something that you could never actually show people what the Palestinian Salon is. Like, it will really be different for everyone. So my work for the last few years, it's focused on deterritoriality, displacement, the idea of not being on the lands that you identify with or that you're from. And it comes from a very personal space. I'm the daughter of a refugee and a West Bank Palestinian who was also in exile for 20 years. And it's why we lived in Canada for so long. But my father still can't come back here. And so even as I'm living here, he can't be here. And every time I would come back, he would ask me for soil from Palestine. And this was the main thing he would ask me for, not, you know, a lot of people get asked for like za'atar or zait zaytun or decor, you know. No, my dad would always ask us for soil. And it began to, you know, make me question, like, what is the meaning? It began to make me question what is the value or the meaning that he's assigning to this soil? And is the soil something special that, you know, is holy to people, or is it that we assign meaning to it and we kind of resist the will for us to forget our connections to this land through things like the soil? And really I begin to feel like we are creating these meanings that are actually quite powerful, because they allow us to remember memories that we're really not supposed to remember. A lot of my work has focused on this idea of how time and land are connected when we look at the effects of settler colonialism. And so for many of us, it's really difficult to imagine what the future past colonialism will look like, or even what our past before colonialism looked like. We really are stuck in many ways mentally in this current state of colonization. And without being able to imagine a different future, it's really difficult to work towards it. And so I'm really interested in how things like our attachment to symbols, or the way we attribute meaning to things, is a form of resistance against this push to forget and to sever us from our connection to the land. I'm really excited for the show to open. I'm really excited for you guys to see our work in conversation with each other. I think all the artists have come to the show bringing really different perspectives. But once we started to install and we see our works kind of next to each other, they're actually bringing them a lot of new meaning. And I hope that as viewers, you'll all see that as well.